the theme tonight is actives and how actives came to be. Of course, since I just went and saw a play called The Tale of Two Cities by Dickens, maybe I'll start out in terms of referring to actives history as it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. No, we haven't had the worst of times, but we've had some pretty good times. But I can tell you that the history of actives is like the history of anything and anyone. It's actually intertwined with a lot of other separate histories. I went back in my phone and looked at what some people might consider to be the birth date of actives, which is September 9th, 2016. When I met the fateful day when I got together at a Panera Bread in Fairfield, California with Ryan Thompson. I happen to be in Oakland on business. He lives over in Folsom in Sacramento area, and we met halfway to discuss we might want to combine our efforts and create a company. Now, of course, Ryan and I had known each other previously. We had been part of the team that took LifeVantage from a small, struggling little company of $3 million and trying to sell their product in retail at places like GNC and other places to in 4 to 5 years, over a $200 million company listed on NASDAQ and doing very well. And what's interesting is just a bit of history. That's where our paths first converged and came together. Ryan has had a tremendous history of success in network marketing, where the bulk of his career has been spent at companies like Nu Skin and Noni and other places like that. Mine was a little bit different. As you know, I am a recovering lawyer by training. I was an international corporate lawyer who then got involved in supplements, but supplement sales on the retail side. First in mom and pop health food stores, then expanding into food, drug, and mass, and had some great experience with small companies that we created and turned into very large companies. And then we all got together at this little company called LifeVantage. And prior to that, he'd been at this company along with Angie and others at a company called Zuri. And I think that kind of sets the tone for tonight. If there's one thing that I think can be the overarching theme of actives and our past and where we think we're going, is the phrase, united we stand, divided we fall. They were at a very fast-growing company called Zuri, but they found out that the primary owner of that company and the money behind it didn't share their values. They were not united in what they wanted to accomplish. And so that group left and walked out along with many of their top distributors. They walked out and kind of like the song says, they walked out and walked into my arms, and I that's when I met them. And they were very much responsible for the success we had at LifeVantage that I explained a little bit earlier. Well, we had a period of time there that some might describe as similar to Camelot. It was great. We were the toast of the industry. We were growing very fast. We had a wonderful culture. We had a seminal singular product that was the precursor, a product called Protandim, to our genomics product today. Also developed by Dr. Joe McCord, also a Nrf2 activator. Although in those early days, we didn't talk about Nrf2 because frankly, the science hadn't been developed yet. We simply knew that it had a profound impact on oxidative stress, or the cumulative damage caused by free radicals. Then what happened? Well, as a public company, I call it the pirates boarded the ship. And some people who had a different agenda packed our board with their friends. They in turn hired how long have I been on mute? You guys missed some really good stuff.
Not very long, David. Just a few seconds.
But anyway, the pirates boarded the ship. And so no longer were we united, we were divided. And what's interesting is that I left in 2013. Dr. McCord left in 2013. Angie and Ryan left shortly thereafter. And that company has basically stayed the same. They've gone down, they've gone a little bit up, but they haven't grown, despite the fact that we had this tremendous upward arc in the early days. So when Ryan and I got together, what had happened is that both of us had gone our own ways. I then had my breakup relationship. Um, after having left LifeVantage, I joined with a person who asked me if I wanted to start a company with him. And he's a billionaire, very successful in many walks of life and in investment. And despite some misgivings, we did it. And it's a very good example of no matter how much money, sometimes people might think that you have too much money and that money is the real key to success and to achieving something. Not true. We had all the money in the world to build this company. And we started out very strong. But what happened is we noticed that at the end of the day, again, we weren't united in what we were trying to accomplish. What he envisioned, and he's not a terrible person, but what he envisioned was just not what I and others envisioned. Ryan and Angie had a very similar experience as they went with another company that they started. Again, the people behind that were providing the financial backing had a very different concept of what they wanted to accomplish. So when Ryan and I met that day, it's interesting. We'd both had some similar experiences. We had some dissimilar experiences, but it was also interesting. We had texted and occasionally called each other over the couple of years since we both left LifeVantage, but we hadn't maintained a close contact. But what was interesting, both of us, independent of the other, had been speaking to Dr. McCord and talking about where his research was in regards to the next NRF2 activator. Both of us had flown out to Florida and met with him individually. Both of us liked the idea of creating a company with one of his formulas as our flagship product. So when we got together, Ryan said, I told Ryan that I'd been in touch with Dr. McCord. He started laughing and said, oh, I've been in touch with Dr. McCord. And I started laughing. And we said, maybe what we ought to do is combine efforts. And but in the meantime, I had purchased a manufacturing company here in Utah. And frankly, he didn't really like that idea. He didn't want to delay. I said, listen, I've just done this. I'm not really ready to go down this other route yet. Frankly, I feel like I need a break from network marketing, and let's do something different. And so then fast forward a couple of months, and those of you who know Ryan can totally understand where you'll chuckle when I tell you this next part of the story. So several months had gone by. He had gone his way and was looking at trying to raise some money to start a company. And I had purchased this manufacturing company, and we were doing some things there. And one Saturday he calls me up and he says, David, come on, let's do this. And I said, Ryan, I'm really busy. And I remember I'm sitting in the parking lot of Costco, okay, getting ready to go in. And he says, and I said, Ryan, I'm just not ready to do this right now. So if you want to go on and do your thing, good luck. I'll support you, but the timing's not quite right for me. And Ryan said, as only Ryan can say, he said, David, I'm not going to let you break up with me. And I just started laughing. I'm like, well, that's kind of funny, actually, you say that to me. He says, I know that sounded funny. As soon as I said it, it sounded funny, but I'm not, we're going to do this. I know we're supposed to do this. And so I said, well, okay, that's fine. But it still took a couple of more months before I said, okay, we're ready. Now, it's interesting that some of my partners and investors who are now part of Actives were also part of the group that we bought this manufacturing company. And we ended up selling that. And I reached out to Ryan. I said, okay, I said, okay, we're ready to start this other company now. Are you ready? He said, yes. Now you might wonder where the name Actives came from. Well, this previous company that was called Food for Health had a trademark called Actives. And at one point in the distant past, I don't know exactly how far back, they had decided that they wanted to have a network marketing company. And guess what they wanted to call it? Actives. And they applied for the trademark and they got it. And they had some products that they wanted to but they never made it out of the gate in terms of direct selling. So what they did in order to try and recoup their losses, they put that name Actives on some other products, primarily nutritional products, some mostly mixes, drinks, and things like that. You could, and a couple of other things like probiotics and stuff like that. Really nothing, okay products, but not anything that was spectacular. That's why if you in some searches, if you put actives, you'll see other products out there, other supplements that contain with a totally different logo, a different typeface for the name, all that type of thing. That was the name Actives. Well, when we sold the manufacturing company, we retained the trademark to Actives. And so the company that we call Actives now owns that trademark. We apply it, and we started a new company called Actives Global. And so don't worry about, all of those other things that might be on the internet are simply legacy kind of leftover things. None of those products are available for sale, and they haven't been for probably 4 or 5 years. And there's also actually another interesting note. There's an FDA notice out there pertaining to the company that was making those products. And they got what's called an FDA warning letter. It's not that unusual in the space. If you're around long enough, sooner or later, the FDA might find something that they don't like. And in this particular case, they were making some claims. Again, it predated me, well before I had even heard of the company, but they were making some claims about some of their products that were not totally allowed under the law. So the FDA sent them a warning letter. And so what you'll find is, as we go forward, and especially as we are more successful, that critics will look under every rock, will turn over every stone to try and find something to throw at you, to tell you that you're crazy for being part of a company like this. So if one of the stones that they throw at you happens to be, oh, well, you guys got this FDA warning letter back, 10 years ago, just relax and tell them, no, different company. You don't have your facts straight. That's not what happened at all. That was a different company who had the trademark at the time, and this is a totally different company. So speaking of totally different company, when Ryan and I got together, we compared notes, and we said, what kind of company do we want to build? What are your ideas, Ryan? And what do you want to do, David? And we knew each other well enough that what we had in mind would not be far different. We knew that while we understood the power of direct selling and network marketing and had been part of tremendous successes, we knew that there were lots of companies out there that failed. And we knew that there are certain things about the industry. We really had, especially me, I think, had what I would call a love-hate relationship with the industry. I love meeting new people. I love seeing the benefits that providing products rooted in science and having a business opportunity that can change people's lives financially. I'd seen firsthand where that was an 80-year-old Seo-san in Japan, or a single mom in Kansas City, or a hairdresser who didn't like to talk to anybody and said she hated people in Denver, Colorado. I'd seen their lives changed, okay? And I'd seen really hundreds of thousands, well, maybe not hundreds, tens of thousands, probably going upon hundreds of thousands of stories of people whose lives had been changed because of the health benefits as well. So I love that part. Let me tell you what I hated. I hate companies that make inflated claims about their products. I hate companies that make inflated claims about the financial opportunity. And I hate companies that say, anybody can do it. All you got to do is this. And that's not what I wanted to do. Now, we had not made inflated claims at LifeVantage. We had not made inflated claims about the products or about the financial opportunity. But here's something that I felt that we had kind of become too much like other companies. The vast majority of people that signed up as distributors never made any money. Now, that's true with every company. And the industry's own statistics yield about 80% to 85% of all people who join network marketing companies never make any money. Now, there are some real reasons for that. If they join and they never do anything, they shouldn't make any money, right? It doesn't make sense. If you don't do anything in any walk of life that you're trying to succeed in, you won't. If you sign up for piano lessons and you never go or you never practice, you shouldn't ask for your money back that you didn't learn how to play the piano. And so the same thing's true in this space. But what is true is that many companies will say, everybody can do this or anybody can do this if you just follow steps 1, 2, 3. Now, let me just make sure that you understand how I think that we're different. Number one, our compensation plan is designed, yes, at the top, you can make lots of money. There are people right now making tens over $10,000 a month, over $20,000 a month, over $30,000 a month right now in actives as we have this meeting right now. Okay, but there's also a vast middle class of people who are making $500 to $1,000 a month, or in Mexico, $250 to $1,000 a month, because we measure these things. And that's really where the compensation plan is geared. We want the masses to succeed, because what's not true, and we will never say this, it's not true that every single person can make $30,000 a month. That's not because of the compensation plan. It's not because of any inherent weakness. It's because not all people are cut out for that. Not all people are going to do what's necessary to make $30,000 a month. It's just, and so to tell people that they will is disingenuous. But what is true is that everyone has the opportunity to succeed to the level of their own comfort. Okay, and and at the very least, we want to put an additional $500 a month in everyone's bank account and make that as easy and as simple as possible. And our compensation plan is geared to do that. And Ryan actually is a compensation plan guru. No one, I don't think anybody in the world knows compensation plans like Ryan Thompson. And he is the primary driving force behind the compensation plan that we have at Actives. And it's why we allow people at a very low level to start participating in international revenue. At a very low level of an A6, you can start participating and benefiting from the revenues that are coming in from Mexico, or coming in from Colombia, Bolivia, Peru, Japan, and that's something that's very unique to our company. The amount of money that we pay out. Do you know that we pay out well over 50%? Closer, depending on the month, it fluctuates a little bit, but on average, we pay out between about 54 and 57% of every dollar that we take in, we pay out in commissions. That's extremely high. In fact, it's almost unheard of. It's also why we don't do some other things that other companies do. Other companies will have maybe a more lavish car program, although our car program is pretty good, and a more lavish something else. But what our focus is, we'd rather put money in your pocket and you can decide how you want to spend it, rather than we just throw things at you and say, take this little prize and take that little prize. It's really important for us. And so when Ryan and I came together, we said, okay, let's be committed in terms of what we're offering people from a financial standpoint. Let's be committed in terms of the types of products that we're going to offer. We'll never offer hundreds or thousands of SKUs or different types of products. We will always offer products that have wide application, that everyone needs to take, that are unique and grounded in science, and have strong intellectual property and scientific validation behind each and every one of them. And so far, I think we've been able to accomplish that. It's really gratifying to me. Coco's on this line, and Coco sent me a text the other day. She said, David, I have a friend with MS, and do you think that any of our products will help her? Now, because we're a dietary supplement, we can't make drug claims. We can't make disease claims. But what we can do is that we can talk about the science. So here's what I did. I Googled NRF2 and MS. And guess what? There are studies out there regarding NRF2 and MS. I Googled butyric acid and MS, and I found articles and research regarding the benefits of butyric acid and MS. I Googled curcumin and MS and found the benefits that science has shown in terms of therapeutic applications of curcumin. And so it's incredibly gratifying to me. In fact, I defy anyone to come up with a disease condition, a health condition, that if they Google any one of these ingredients, okay, I mean, the primary benefits, if you Google NRF2 or oxidative stress and blank, butyric acid and blank, curcumin and blank, I will guarantee, in fact, I'll bet my house, and I'll bet 3 of my 4 kids, one of my kids I'm really not very happy with right now. No, I'm just kidding. But I will bet virtually anything that you'll find strong scientific evidence on PubMed.gov, at various other institutions of research, where it will show that there's a connection. And why is that? Well, I can tell you why it is. It's very simple. Bottom line is, they're finding almost every day that almost every health condition ties back to an underlying inflammatory condition. Inflammation is the big bad guy in terms of our health. And so almost if it's an autoimmune disorder, if it's a central nervous system disorder, if it's something else, there's going to be an underlying either cause or effect of out of control inflammation. Tied to that, the importance of gut health and immune system health. You basically have the entire gambit covered. Now, that said, that doesn't mean that we won't introduce any other products, that the trifecta covers everything, because there's other specific benefits and products that we're looking at, whether that be to help enhance sleep, whether that be on the weight loss category, whether that be for overall more effective nutritional support. There's, some of you listened on Saturday to Al Zapp. Al Zapp has some really interesting things going on that we're going to take advantage of and introduce to the world going forward. Let me, since all of you guys are taking time out on a Tuesday night to listen to this call, I'll give you a teaser of something we're looking at right now. Everyone knows of the vast popularity of CBD, right? I probably get asked by companies selling it or something about whether I have an interest in CBD 2 or 3 or 4 times a week. Okay. Now, my response has always been, no, I'm not particularly interested in offering a CBD product. And when I say that, almost invariably, whoever's asking me about it assumes that I must not think that CBD is very helpful. I said, no. I'm okay. I'm aware of the science. I think that CBD has application. But here's my problem. My problem is that there are hundreds, maybe thousands of CBD products out there. And to just introduce one more CBD product that's not unique or is like everybody else's is like saying that we're also going to introduce lemonade. I just don't think it's going to be a great business opportunity for you to go out there and say, well, ours is higher quality and ours is full spectrum CBD. Just once, I would like somebody to tell me ours is low quality and not full spectrum, but it's much cheaper than everybody else's. I would love to have them say that, but nobody does. And so that's not very easy for you to go out there and talk to people about. But what is interesting, how scientists know, so what CBD does, has been shown to do, it's part of it hits what's called our cannabinoid system. We have an endocannabinoid system in our body, okay? That's what cannabis or CBD affects. And it affects it in a way because something called anandamide, which is a substance that our body uses to fight depression, to fight stress, to fight inflammation, to fight anxiety, is because of the stress and our diet and other things, it's used up faster than our body can produce it. And so what CBD does is it helps to slow down the erosion of that substance in our body. That's really fundamentally how it works in the body. Well, how about instead of a product like CBD that helps slow down the erosion of this very important substance called anandamide, what if we simply had an anandamide product that gave you more of what CBD is designed to help you not lose? You might be saying, I'm blown away. I'm not really sure I understand anything at all what you're talking about, but I can just tell you that it cuts to the chase. It cuts to it does away with the middleman, which is CBD, and goes right to the benefit. It's kind of like why branched chain amino acids are popular. Why are they popular? Because protein breaks down into amino acids and branched chain amino acids that our body can use. So why the body uses protein in order to break it down to amino acids. So if you can just introduce amino acids, then you're skipping a step, and it can be helpful to just provide the direct ultimate result of the chemical reaction, the breakdown. So stay tuned. We're still looking into it, but that's the type of exciting stuff that wouldn't it be much better as a distributor to say, listen, I could offer you CBD, but what if I offer you instead the benefits that CBD is supposed to help you achieve without having to just fight it out and say our CBD is better than your CBD, our quality is better than your quality. That's the type of thing that you can expect from actives going forward. Now, they all won't be very, some of you might be saying, whoa, can we just have something a little bit easier to explain? How about just vitamin C? Well, I'm not sure we'll offer vitamin C, but we always won't have things that are, that you feel like you have to be a junior scientist to explain. And in fact, even now, I wouldn't worry about getting caught up. I'm a science geek. I stay up at night reading studies. It's interesting to me. My wife thinks I'm weird for that and any number of other reasons she thinks I'm weird, which I then turn around on her, of course, say, well, what does that say about you if you wanted to marry somebody as weird as me? But she never really gives me a satisfactory answer to that question, by the way. But nevertheless, I can tell you it's not necessary for you. All that's necessary for you to know is that inflammation's bad. Strong immune systems are good. Our products do both. They build your immune system, they do away with inflammation. And then let people do their research. If they say, well, will it help with this? Well, Google it. Will it help with that? Well, Google it. If there's an inflammatory component, an immune system component, a gut health component, the answer is absolutely, unequivocally yes. So you might say, how did we start talking about products when this is supposed to be a history of actives discussion? Well, that's a problem. You can say hello to me and we'll end up in a discussion about products. You could say, hey, David, I like the jacket you're wearing, and we'll end up talking about products. I guess that's kind of the way that I'm wired. But I want you to know that everything that we do is designed to make it easier for you in your role as distributors. You are an essential piece. Without you, we don't have a company. We have these great products. We have this great science. We have this great corporate team. But do you know that each of you are like little Walmarts? You're like little Targets. You're like little Walgreens. You are the distribution arm of the company. You are the access point that people within your sphere of influence are able to obtain the benefits of our products. And you're also many Banks of America. You're many private equity groups, because you're also offering great financial opportunities to people who get it and understand that if I have a product that every person in the world needs and they can only get it from me, that's a great business opportunity. And I hope that you'll feel comfortable that that's the proposition that you have. We are not selling just lipstick. We're not selling just, something that's a commodity out there. We're selling something that, frankly, every single person ought to be taking. And if they will ever do the research, if they'll ever stop and get over their inherent reservations, their inherent prejudice against network marketing, or the fact that you're my neighbor, well, how do you know anything about this stuff? Just say, whoa, stop. I don't know anything. I'm just the messenger. Here's the message. Look at this, watch this video, read this, and that's what we're designed to do. We're designed as a corporate team to provide you cover, to provide you support. We know that it's not easy. The hardest thing in the world is asking someone to go out, utilize their reputation, put their ego, their whole reputation on the line in terms of talking to somebody else about a business opportunity, or would they like to join a company or be interested in this product. That's tough. I understand how that is. I've been a door-to-door salesman in my life, okay? And now I can see Vita saying, oh, that explains everything. I got involved with a company by a former door-to-door salesman, for heaven's sake. But I know that it's not easy, okay? And I know that it's hard to get rejected. But over and over again, just tell yourself, if they really knew what I know about these products, if they really knew what I know about this company, they wouldn't say no. So don't take it personally. Don't give up. Keep sharing. And realize at the end of the day, I said the theme is united we stand, divided we fall. That is a theme. What the real theme is that you are creating the history of actives. The history of actives is you, all right? Every single one of you has your own chapter in what this ultimate book known as the history of actives is going to be. And I, for one, wouldn't have it any other way. I appreciate your time tonight. And we have time for If anybody has any questions about anything that I've talked about tonight or anything else, we can spend some time, or we'll just let you get back to whatever you're doing. Anybody have any questions?